Part 45. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 441. Chapter 441 Chapter 441 Revealing her identity. Zhang Xiaoxiao bit the corner of his lip and refused to call him Fu Xiu. His brows were slightly furrowed and he said, "Uncle Wu, I can't call you husband. It's not allowed." Fu Xiu lowered his eyebrows and stared at her. "Do you want me to take out the marriage certificate and show it to you?" "Zhang Shi. If you don't bark now, you will have to bark in the future. It's not good for me to let you get used to it now. Call him husband and listen." Fu Xiu coaxed, stubbornly, just wanting to hear Zhang Xiaoxiao call him husband. No. Zhang Xiaoxi's pink lips pursed tightly and refused to call Fu Xiu. Fu Xiu's face quickly darkened, and his eyes were as sharp as a knife, directed at Zhang Xiaoxi. "Sooner or later you will scream." Zhang Xiao snorted twice and whispered secretly, "That will happen in the future, let's talk about it later." Fu Xiu let go of Zhang Xiaoxi and said, "I'm not saying I'm hungry, just eat your food." He also put away her computer. "Uncle Wu, please keep the computer while I watch TV series." Zhang Xiaoxi saw him about to take away his computer, and stopped it quickly with quick eyes and hands. Fu Xiu frowned and took the computer away, saying in a serious tone, "The computer has radiation, and you can only use it for 2 hours every day." "Zhang Xiao. Is it because she is not allowed to use her mobile phone?" "Uncle Wu, you can buy some radiation-proof clothes." Zhang Xiao protested slightly. No. Fu Xiu dismissed her protest without any discussion. "On your mobile phone, you can only receive calls every day, but not the internet. I will ask Luo Yi to stop your internet connection." Zhang Shi was going crazy. He actually wanted to take away her mobile phone. The tyrant was still so overbearing and unreasonable. He gritted his teeth and protested, "I must use my mobile phone and not disconnect the internet." "The protest is ineffective, or do you want to disconnect all the networks of Nangzi Yuan?" Fu Xiu said coldly. "She needs to go online, and she also needs to contact Mo Zhangxiang to understand her situation at any time. The Mo family is not that easy to deal with. If it was really easy to deal with, Mo Zhangxiang would not be lying in the hospital, and she would not go Chengdu, but you can't help but pay attention to the latest news. But if you insist on being stubborn with Fu Xiu, the result will be that Nangzi Yuan will never have a network." He turned around and sat down, grabbing some rice, not looking at Fu Xiu, and preparing to talk to him. He decided to ignore him completely. Fu Xiu frowned and looked at her. Knowing that she was getting angry, he didn't say anything, so he took the computer and walked out. After Fu Xiu left, Zhang remembered the phone call when he was young. It was Mo Zhangxiang who called, "Sister. Are you okay?" "It's okay." Zhang Xiao knew what she was asking about. Mo Zhangxiang leaned on the hospital bed and glanced at Su Yuan's, who was standing motionless in front of the hospital bed with a headache. "When I was young, my sister wanted to announce your identity, but she might just use Weibo. Will you?" "Angry. Reveal my identity." Zhang Xiaoxiao was a little surprised. Mo Zhangxiang tried his best not to be exposed when she first returned to her body, but this time she actually wanted to reveal her identity. "Well, if you mind announcing your identity on Weibo, my sister will hold a press conference." When Mo Zhangxiang said this, he was threatened by Su Yuan's gaze. In fact, she didn't have any objections to the announcement, and she wasn't stupid. Given a little time, she figured out why Mo Zhangxiang suddenly wanted to reveal her identity. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 442. Chapter 442 Chapter 442 Don't worry about it. Sister, no need, I don't care what is said on the internet. The topic about me and my fifth uncle is not so hot right now, so just ignore it. Zhang Xiaoxiao actually had other plans in mind, and she did. I really don't care what is said on the internet. After lying down for so many years, I will naturally understand many things and my mentality will be different. When I was a child, you didn't care that my sister did. You and Fu Jianxiu had nothing to do with each other. You shouldn't be said to be so bad when you are with him. Moreover, our status is worthy of joining the Fu family. I don't want to. I see you being wronged. Mo Zhangxiang felt sorry for Zhang Xiaoxiao. The words on the internet were really ugly. Two people who clearly have no relationship were called a mess. Lun, the vast majority of people were scolding Zhang Xiao. They would have had parents who loved them and were pampered by their parents. It was because of Mo Ziwiyuan and the others that Zhang suffered such verbal attacks when he was young. Thinking of this, Mo Jiangxiang's hatred for Mo Ziwiyuan and the others became even stronger. At that moment, I really wanted to agree with Su Yuan's opinion and kill them directly. Sister, since you care, then just follow your advice and announce my identity on Weibo. You are not well yet, so you can take good care of yourself in the hospital. As for the Mo family, Uncle Wu will help us. Zhang Shi didn't have any big objections when she was young. Even if her identity was revealed, it wouldn't make any big difference to her. Because Fu Jianxiu will definitely not let her leave his side, so even if his identity is announced, at most she and Fu Jianxiu will not have that kind of relationship, and then the trolls will not be able to make comments when they are together. Xiao Xiao, my sister originally wanted to give you a grand status to return to the club, but now I can't do it. I'm sorry, my sister is too useless. Mo Zhangxiang said to Zhang Xiao guiltily. When Zhang Xiao heard Mo Jiangxiang's guilty voice, he felt bad. She was only 3 or 4 years older than him, so how could she do things so perfectly? Sister, you are the best sister in my heart. You have already done what you have done. It's great, no need to feel guilty. Mo Zhangxiang burst into tears on the spot. Zhang Xiaoxiao's words were heartwarming. She was not a good sister. If she was a good sister, she would not have lost her. As a sister, she has neglected her duty. Now that she has been wronged, they can't let her recognize her ancestors and return to her clan in a glorious way, and she might even be involved in it. When I was young, wait until my sister gets the Mo family back, then you won't be as wronged as you are now, Mo Zhangxiang said with tears in his eyes. Sister, it doesn't matter. As long as I can watch Mo Ziwiyuan be punished by the law, my uncle and I will be fine too. As long as you are happy, my sister will be happy. Su Yuan's wiped the tears of a crying woman with a tissue. Women are really made of water. She just said a few words and started to burst into tears. But damn, he just couldn't see her shed any tears because he felt so distressed. It's like killing him, it's like cutting out his flesh, it hurts like hell. Stop crying. If you are crying, I will kill Mo Ziwiyuan. Su Yuans gritted his molars and said fiercely. You're being mean to me, Su Yuans, you're actually being mean to me. Mo Zhangxiang had already hung up the phone with Zhang Shishi, and his mood was a bit high. When Su Yuans was so mean, he naturally lost control of his emotions and couldn't control himself. Su Yuans. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 443. Chapter 443. Chapter 443. A person with a dark heart. It's all you. If it weren't for you, I would have gone to the press conference, so that my sister wouldn't suffer so much injustice. It's all your fault, and now you're trying to hurt me, woo woo woo. Su Yuans held a tissue, his handsome face was dark, and his father held him stiffly in his arms. It's my fault, it's all my fault, please don't cry, okay. Mo Zhangxiang leaned in his arms and started sobbing, You have always been so cruel to me. You were like that at home, and you are still like that now. You are always mean to me and bully me. It's my fault. I won't be harsh on you in the future. It's your turn to be harsh on me. Please stop crying. Okay, if the wound opens, it will hurt again. Suyuan's comfort was a bit stiff. After all, it was the first time in history. Woo woo woo. Be good, let's not cry. If we don't cry, let's make a statement and announce your sister's identity. Okay, Suyuan's only thought of this way to divert her attention and prevent her from crying. This method is naturally useful. Although Mo Zhangxiang was still crying, he was not crying as hard as before. His voice was hoarse after crying. Can you help me prepare the statement? Well, you're ready, I'll send it to your mobile phone. Suyuan's moved quickly without any delay, because he was afraid that if someone lost control of his emotions, he would be in trouble. Mo Zhangxiang glanced at the statement he had prepared and the DNA report. He sobbed intermittently and sent out the statement. Suddenly, the wound stung. He frowned slightly and reached out to touch it. It was sticky and moist, which made her feel uncomfortable. His face suddenly turned pale, and he looked at Suyuan's with moist eyes. My wound seems to have opened. Suyuan's face instantly became as cold as the cold wind in winter, biting to the bone. He reached out and pressed the button on the bedside, gritted his teeth and said fiercely, "Stop crying, do you really want my life?" Mo Zhangxiang looked at Suyuan's pitifully, pursed his pink lips and dared not speak. The doctor came quickly, asked about the situation, and resewed a few stitches on Mo Zhangxiang's wound. He also warned very seriously, "Don't get excited. If you open the wound again, it will easily become infected." After the doctor left, Suyuan said with a cold expression and a frown on his face, "If you are in a bad mood, you can pinch me and bite me to vent your emotions, but you cannot open the wound anymore." Mo Zhangxiang. "Do you think she is a dog?" And bit him. Within 5 minutes after Zhang Xiaoxi finished talking to Mo Zhangxiang on the phone, the news that she was the daughter of the Mo family instantly hit the hot search results. One netizen said, "Sure enough, the prince will only be with the princess. The ugly duckling is originally a swan, and it is true that the couple is well matched." Upstairs, truth, I thought it was an ugly duckling trying to win over a prince, but I didn't expect that she turned out to be a princess. Netizen 2 said, "Now we can be together openly, but who knows if this DNA report is true, if this report is just to confuse the public and cover up the disgusting relationship between them. After all, they have money, nothing can be done." Old master, you have such a dark heart thinking of people like this, you should have some moral integrity. I think the poster is right. There is nothing you can't do if you have money. Don't say there is no blood connection. Even if there is, a rich person can get it. A group of people with dark thoughts, why can't they be real rich people? End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 444. Chapter 444. Chapter 444. Take my niece home. As I said, who knows whether the things in the wealthy family are true or false, we are just a bunch of people. The Mo family is a big melon, and now that the Fu family is also involved, this melon cannot be eaten up. There's a sensible man upstairs. Zhang didn't read the comments when he was young, because there would be people who said anything anyway, so he might as well eat at home and lie down, wait for this storm to pass, and see what happens on Mo Ziyuan's side. She also said she was waiting to see what news would happen on Mo Ziyuan's side. As soon as she refreshed the page on her phone, she saw the latest news, which showed Mo Ziyuan at the airport, with many reporters accompanying him. Reporter, "Mr. Mo, where are you going?" Mo Ziyuan, "Go to Rushan to pick up my niece." Reporter, "Mr. Mo, is it true that I heard that Mo Zhangxiang was hospitalized?" I heard that the property of the Mo family was given to Mo Kongming, and now his daughters are back. Do you want to return the Mo family to their two sisters? Mo Ziwi Yuan, these two sisters have the blood of the Mo family, so the things of the Mo family naturally belong to them. Reporter, Mr. Mo, can I understand that you can give the two sisters a life of food and clothing, but the Mo group will not be returned to the two sisters? Mo Ziwi Yuan, this journalist friend, please don't misinterpret what you said. If you misunderstand it, it will be misunderstood by the public. Reporter, Mr. Mo, you have never responded positively to those who said you killed your brother and took away things that should have belonged to them. Mo Kuoming is also under investigation, and you yourself are also one of the while being investigated. Don't you have anything to say? Mo Ziwi Yuan, journalist friend, regarding what you want to know, Mo Group has issued a statement, and there is no need to explain too much. As for now, I am going to pick up my niece. I have been looking for her for so many years. I am very happy to know that she is still alive and well, and I hope you will not disturb my schedule. The reporter didn't follow up and ask stupidly, but turned around and left the airport. The big news reporter was worth the wait. According to the information she had investigated, the water here was so deep that picking someone up would be a hangmen banquet. The Fu family is not so easy to deal with. It is impossible that the Fu family does not know Zhang Xiaoxiu's identity, and they know it and conceal it, which proves that Fang Nian's matter is definitely not that simple. Master, your smile is so scary. The intern who was following the reporter who was sick was frightened by his master's smile. The reporter patted the intern on the shoulder with a serious look on his face and said, Guan Guan, if you want to stay, you and the master's year-end bonus will all depend on this to make news, do you understand? Master, the news about the Mo family is not that easy to dig up. There is also a master who we want to dig up. Big news. Aren't we going to Ruchin with us? The intern looked at his master in confusion. There won't be any big news if we go to Ruchin. The Fu family won't let him pick up Zhang Xiaoxiao, so let's go back now and sort out all the information I investigated. It will be of great use then. I believe it, Master, this will definitely. There is big news. The reporter's intuition told her that there would be big news. Master, we can't go back now. Have you forgotten that the team leader also gave us a character who came to the airport to take photos of Yi-11? Reporter. Brat, why didn't you remind me earlier what time Yi-11's flight was? Is he leaving? It's over, I will be scolded to death by the team leader if I go back. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 445. Chapter 445. Chapter 445. Packing clothes. The intern innocently looked at the reporter, who was as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, and continued to tell a piece of news that was like a bolt from the blue. Master, while you were chasing Mr. Mo to ask questions, Yi-11 had already left the VIP channel over there. Already? Reporter. Why don't you run up and take some photos? We'll just wait to be chopped alive by the team leader when we get back. The reporter regretted with tears in his eyes why he had brought such a stupid apprentice. In turn, he has no equipment. Zhang Xiaoxi finished watching the video, with a deep groove between his eyebrows. What kind of trick was Mo Ziwi Yuan singing now? He took her home, probably because he wanted to use her to control Mo Zhangxiang, but his IQ was also touching. Uncle Wu, will you let him take you away? How naive. Little miss, have you finished eating? Aunt Zhang took time to come up and clean up. Zhang Xiao finished the last bite of rice and said slurredly, Aunt Zhang, I've finished eating. Hearing Zhang Xi's reply, Aunt Zhang entered the room, looked at the CD plate, her eyes were crooked, and she said cheerfully, Xiao Xi, if you like it, I'll make it for you next time. Aunt Zhang, I will gain weight if I do that, Zhang Xiao said coquettishly. With how much she eats now, She might gain 20 pounds by the time she gives birth. You're not fat. Whatever you eat, the little guy in your belly will help you absorb it. Don't worry. Aunt Jong just hoped that she would be fatter and not be as thin as a bamboo pole like she is now, which makes people look weird. Heartbroken, by the way, when you were young, Fifth Master asked me to help you pack your clothes. You are pregnant now, so you should stop jumping around. You have to take good care of yourself. Zhang Xiaoxia lowered his eyebrows and looked very ugly. Uncle Wu asked you to help me pack my clothes. Well, I also said that you will be gone for a long time and let me pack your clothes, so that. Aunt Zhang, where is the fifth uncle? Has he gone out? Zhang Xiaoxiao suppressed her anger, with an unhappy expression on her face, and looked at Aunt Zhang fiercely. In the study. Zhang Xiaoxiao turned around and left, heading to the study. Aunt Zhang watched her angrily disappear from the door, wondering what happened to the two of them. They should not quarrel again. Zhang Xiao ran to the study angrily, and the study door made a loud noise. People who didn't know better would think that something terrible had happened. Fifth uncle, are you going to send me back to Mo's house? Zhang Xiaoxiao stared at someone on the phone with red eyes, almost crying to him on the spot. Let's deal with the matter like this first. Fu Chenxiao simply told the person on the phone, frowning his long eyebrows, looking at the angry Zhang Shishi. I just decided this temporarily. I will stay for 2 days, and God will pick you up. The golden Daodu in Zhang Xiaoshi's eyes immediately fell after his words, and he looked at Fu Chenxiao with extremely disappointed eyes, and his tone was also filled with disappointment for Fu Chenxiao. Fifth uncle, you have changed, and now you are actually willing to give up. I gave it away, you don't love me anymore. Fu Chenxiao's eyebrows deepened as he listened to her words. When I was young, my fifth uncle didn't say I would send you out. I just asked you to stay for 2 days and he would come to pick you up after finishing some things. Pick me up? You are sending me to the wolf's den now. What if you come to pick me up in 2 days and can't pick me up? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 446. Chapter 446. Chapter 446. Want to propose marriage. When Fu Chenxiao heard this, his handsome face turned gloomy. He didn't like to hear this assumption, and he didn't want to hear it. He wouldn't allow this assumption to exist as long as he was around. His voice was cold. He doesn't dare. I am here. Zhang Xiao sneered, even if I'm by your side, you can't guarantee that I won't get hurt. Let alone if I leave your side and am not under your nose, how can you guarantee that I will be fine? Fu Chenxiao's facial contours were hard, and his thin lips were pursed into a straight line. Faced with Zhang Xiaoshi's various doubts, he realized that the little girl now had very little trust in him. Even if the person was not under his nose, there was a way to protect her. If it wasn't 100% safe, would he hand her over? Fifth uncle, I won't allow anything to happen to you. My fifth uncle has also made arrangements. Arrange it well, Uncle Wu. You never tell me what plans you have in mind when there are flaws in a perfect plan. You can't guarantee whether flaws will appear, Zhang Xiao said sharply. Fu Chenxiao's face was extremely ugly. He had a plan in mind, otherwise he wouldn't have let Zhang Xiao go to Mo's house, but he couldn't tell her this plan for the time being. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Fu Chenxiao's performance and lowered her eyelids. She was so disappointed. It was nothing to go to Mo's house. She was disappointed that Fu Chenxiao didn't tell her anything. Uncle Wu, you are in my future. I don't want to be a fool who doesn't know anything. After Zhang Xiao said that, she was about to leave. Before she even took half a step out, she was already pulled by someone and trapped in her arms. The man's low and helpless voice sounded in her ears, the reason why I asked you to go to Mo's house is it's better to go to Mo's house to propose marriage and bring you back. Uncle Wu wants you to be upright and not be criticized by others. Zhang Xiaoxiao was originally very angry and disappointed, but when she heard what he said, her whole heart was instantly filled. That joyful mood made her head go blank. Fu Chenxiao bit someone's earlobe. I'm satisfied now. I originally wanted to surprise you, but I insisted on saying those words because I wanted to someone off. Zhang Xiao shrank his neck, his cheeks were pink, and he pouted. He knew that he was in a bad mood just now, and with a little guilt, he whispered, I can bear being criticized. I don't want to go to Mo home, I don't want to leave your fifth uncle even more. You don't care, but fifth uncle does. Mo Ziwiyuan doesn't dare to do anything to you. Just go and stay for a day or two and wait for me to pick you up. Just be good. Fu Chenxiao doesn't want anyone to take this thing in the future. When things come to attack Zhang Xiaoxi, it doesn't matter to him. But Zhang Xiaoxi is different. She is his treasure. Naturally, he doesn't want her to be wronged in the slightest, and he doesn't want anyone to criticize her. The words online are so unpleasant that it makes him want to chop her into pieces. Those people. But, fifth uncle, I don't want to leave you, and when I see Mo Ziwiyuan, I'm afraid that I can't help but want to do something to him. I can't even do the most basic hypocrisy. Zhang Xiaoxiao leaned on Fu Chenxiao's arms. Said through gritted teeth. You can do it if you want. You don't have to be hypocritical. Uncle Wu will be there for everything. Fu Chenxiao never thought of letting Zhang Xiaoxiao endure it. Mo Zhangxiang and Mo Ziwiyuan had already broken up, so there was no need for everyone to be hypocritical to each other. If it was not that he wanted to give Zhang Xiao a status, but he would not let Zhang Xiao go to Mo's house. Uncle Wu, I don't want to go, but can I? End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 447. Chapter 447. Chapter 447. Let's see who laughs last. In one day, my fifth uncle will pick you up. Fu Chenxiao didn't want Zhang Xiao to be labeled as a mess. Lun's label, sometimes rumors are terrible, and he doesn't allow anyone to attack his baby with words. Zhang Xiao also understood Fu Chenxiao's painstaking efforts. Fifth uncle, it's only for one day, and I don't want to leave Ruchen. Okay, if we don't leave Ruchen, we will stay in Ruchen. Fu Chenxiao didn't want Zhang Xiao to go to Rongcheng. It was just a formality. The farther away he was, the more worried he became, so he felt more at ease under his nose. On the plane. Mr. Mo, does the reporter just need to be dealt with? Jin Runs asked. No, Fu Chenxiao actually agreed to us taking Zhang Xiaoxiao back. What do you think he planned? Mo Ziwiyuan narrowed his eyes, and his whole body exuded a dangerous aura. Jin Runs frowned and thought for a while. I guess I want to use you to get Zhang Xiaoxiao to cut off their relationship with him so that they can be together openly. For a woman, the Fu family is not so clear-headed. If I had known that the little girl was picked up by the old man of the Fu family, I would have tried my best to get rid of the little girl no matter what. Now if you having a Fu family is really a headache, Mo Ziwiyuan said fiercely. This is also to blame for the avalanche at that time, otherwise the two of them would not have been able to escape. Now that things have happened, you have begun to deal with them, so there is no need to worry too much. Su Jiashan, please contact him. It's time to take action. If you want to take the Su family into your hands, now is the best time to get rid of that lunatic Su Yuans. Tell him that you only have one chance, Mo Ziwiyuan said with sinister eyes. Contact me immediately, but Mr. Mo, you really have to agree to Zhou Yuling's request and leave Zhang Xiaoxi to her. You have to know that if Zhang Xiaoxi has a problem in our hands, the media and public opinion will be the first to be targeted. It's not cost-effective to point to us, Jin Runs reminded kindly. Since that woman Zhou Yuling wants Zhang Xiaoxi, give it to her. Zhang Ziaxi may not have an accident in our hands. He can also do it on the road or when he returns to Fu's house. Everyone uses each other. Whoever laughs last will only be able to win. You will know in the end, if you can put all the responsibility on that woman and remove yourself, Mo Ziwi Yuan said coldly. Jin Run's eyes narrowed under his gold-rimmed glasses, but he didn't say anything and sat silently in his seat. Runs, I heard you are married, Mo Ziwi Yuan asked. Jin Runs pushed up his glasses with his hands without changing his expression. Well, I'm married. I'm a college classmate and work in a small company. Our company has no problem raising a person, and the salary will not be low. Let her come to work in our company. She quite likes her current job. Thank you, Mr. Mo, for your support. There is something in Mo Ziwi Yuan's words. It is not difficult to guess what Jin Runs means after Jin Runs has been by his side for many years. He wants to use people to control himself. Mo Ziwi Yuan took a light sip of coffee and said, in that case, wait until your wife doesn't like her current job. I will tell the HR department about the remuneration before joining our company. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mo. Runs, you have been by my side for many years. After this incident, the benefits will naturally be indispensable to you. Mr. Mo, even if there is nothing, I will always bear in mind what I owe you. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 448. Chapter 448. Chapter 448. Confrontation. Nangzi Yuan. Jin Run stood next to Mo Ziwi Yuan holding large and small packages of gifts, looking at the two people who were fighting. Mr. Fu, thank you for taking care of my niece for so many years. I know your Fu family lacks everything, so I hope you accept it. As soon as Mo Ziwi Yuan finished speaking, Jin Runs handed the gift to the butler. Fu Chenxiao narrowed his cold eyes slightly and did not exchange basic greetings because they were not needed. I asked you to pick up Xiao and go back. You should understand what I mean. I don't want you to take Xiao back to Rongcheng. You have a villa in Ruchen. You just stay there and I will take you back tomorrow. Fu Chenxiao made his words clear, and Mo Ziwi Yuan also knew his purpose. Both of them had their own agendas, and their eyes were as cunning as foxes. Mr. Fu, of course I know what happened between you and Xiao Shi, but it was just going through the motions. I still have to go back to Lai Mo's house with me. After all, I'm still waiting to recognize my ancestor, and so many people are staring at me. How do I do it? Do I still need you to teach me, Mr. Mo? Fu Chenxiao's dark eyes quickly turned cold and he said in a calm tone. Mo Ziwi Yuan looked at Fu Chenxiao with a smile. Mr. Fu, of course you don't need my teaching. Since you want Xiao to be in Ruchen, then stay in Ruchen. I don't know if you can call Xiao down now. After all, there is still a lot to do. Fu Chenxiao moved his fingers, and Butler Zhu, who was standing next to him, immediately went upstairs to call Zhang Ziaxi. Zhang Xiao came downstairs, his eyes fell on Mo Ziwi Yuan. He couldn't help but frown deeply, walked up to Fu Chenxiao, held his hand and called, "Fifth uncle. Eldest niece, my uncle has worked hard to find you all these years. Why don't you come back to find your uncle? My uncle didn't know that you were still alive until he saw your sister's statement. When your sister came back, she told me that you were not alive, uncle. I couldn't help but feel sad at home for several days. Why did Zhang Xiang lie to me?" Mo Ziwi Yuan came up and performed an affectionate recognition performance. His performances were disgusting in Zhang Xiao's opinion. "I have no memory of my childhood. It was my sister who found me first." Zhang Xiao said that deliberately to let Mo Ziwi Yuan know that she didn't know everything. Mo Zhangxiang would tell her everything that needed to be said, so there was no need to act in front of her, which would make everyone tired. The smile on Mo Ziwi Yuan's face stiffened, but only for a moment, It turns out that it was amnesia. If I had known that Mr. Fu saved you, my uncle would have come to Fu's house to pick you up. He knew that you two sisters were still alive, and they were still alive. Life is good, uncle is happy. Now even if he goes down there to see your father, he will have an explanation. Zhang Xiaoxiao had goosebumps when he heard what he said. He had to admire Mo Ziweiyuan, an old fox, who is thick-skinned and a person who has practiced well. Uncle, since my sister and I are still alive, can you abdicate and let my sister and I take over the Mo family? After all, my grandfather left the Mo family to my father. Mo Ziweiyuan smiled with a kind face, and his words were all for their good. When I was young, it's not that my uncle won't give you Mo's now, but that you don't know anything. Don't you think your sister has already entered the hospital, study in the company, and when you get familiar with it, your uncle will naturally return your place to you. We are all a family, and my uncle will also say that he will take care of his niece's things. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 449. Chapter 449. Chapter 449. An old fox is an old fox. Uncle, if you really think so and don't care about your niece's things, then you can give me Mo's now. Although I am still young and have never studied management, my fifth uncle can. My fifth uncles, I believe you are aware of your management skills in Chengdu. Uncle Wu and I are already married. What belongs to Uncle Wu is mine, and mine belongs to Uncle Wu. If I ask him to help me manage it, the shareholders should not have any objections. Because an excellent leader will be welcomed by anyone who can bring them greater benefits. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Mo Ziweiyuan with a crooked smile, as if he was trying to express his words to Mo Ziweiyuan. Block it up so that he can't find an excuse to shirk it. When Fu Chenxiu heard Zhang Xiaoxiao say that my fifth uncle and I are already married, he couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth, feeling very happy. Mo Ziweiyuan did not lose his temper because of what Zhang Xiaoxiao said. On the contrary, he still smiled and said, Xiaoxiao, although you and Mr. Fu are already married, and what you just said is not wrong, Mr. Fu's ability is of course the best thing is that every group has its own rules. If you break its original rules, it will be difficult to manage. Uncle, do you mean that Mo's rules still need someone to break them? Zhang Xiaoxiao looked at Mo Ziweiyuan with squinted eyes. You have to go to the company first and get to know it before you know it. But don't worry, my uncle will never say that he wants his niece's things, Mo Ziweiyuan said firmly. Zhang Xiao smiled coldly. If he didn't know how to fight, his parents wouldn't have died. He really wouldn't feel guilty. Uncle, you are right. I should go to the company to find out more. Otherwise, how can I help my sister in the future? But uncle, when I go to the company, should I bring a group of bodyguards with me? If someone is jealous of me and wants to kill me, it will be difficult, don't you think? The news of Mo Jiangxiang's injury was blocked because she was afraid that the shareholders who supported her would be shaken in their support for her. Now that her identity has been made public, even if the news of Mo Jiangxiang's injury leaked, there was no need to be afraid, because she was here. She could also be a little more stable. She deliberately said this sarcastically, just to see what Mo Ziweiyuan's reaction would be. When I was a child, it depends on what you said. Being in Uncle's company will put your life in danger, but Uncle also agrees that you should bring a bodyguard. Just like what you said, it would be bad if someone is jealous of you. Mo Ziweiyuan followed Zhang Xiaoxi's words. Zhang Xiaoxiao felt as if he had been punched on cotton. Mo Ziweiyuan could hold his breath so calmly without any change in his expression. She and he were indeed not in the same rank. Fu Chenxiu has been watching this drama for so long, and naturally knows that Zhang Xiaoxiao and Mo Ziweiyuan are not in the same rank. The little girl thought about letting her have a good time, but now she is obviously at a disadvantage, so naturally she has to protect her. Mr. Mo, it's very simple to break the rules of a company, that is, let them gain greater benefits. If my wife needs me to help her manage the company, I will naturally listen to my wife. Fu Jinexai was obviously protective. The smile on Mo Ziweiyuan's face froze. Zhang Xiao's cheeks turned red. Madam. Xiao Xiao, uncle is here to take you home now. We can solve these problems later. Even if you want Mr. Fu to help manage the company, it will take some process. End of this chapter. After wearing the book, I became the group favorite. Author, Little Ginger. Chapter 450. Chapter 450. Chapter 450. Surrounded by reporters. Zhang Xiaoxi is a person who knows how to control and let go. If she continues to interact with Mo Ziweiyuan, she will definitely be the loser. Enough is enough. She has to understand this truth, so she remains silent. I'll take you to the Mo family's residence. Fu Jinexai squeezed Zhang Xiao's hand. Zhang Xiao nodded. She really didn't dare to sit in the same car with Mo Ziweiyuan. It was too dangerous. If Fu Jinexai sent her there, she wouldn't have to worry so much. Fu Jinexai drove Zhang Xiaoxi to the Mo family's residence in Ruchin in person. Mo Ziweiyuan's car drove in front, and Jin Rui's drove the car. Mr. Mo, I contacted the reporters you asked me to contact, but they don't seem willing to come. Of course you can't find the reporter in Ruchin. Since Fu Jinexai asked me to stay in Ruchin, he will naturally take care of everything. You call Su Jiashan and he will get the person. Mr. Mo, if you find Su Jiashan, Fu Jinexai will definitely know that you did it. Jin Run's frowned and said. So what if you know? It's just that the last layer of window paper hasn't been pierced yet. Everyone knows what the other person is like. It doesn't matter if we use this fig leaf or not, Mo Ziweiyuan said indifferently. Mo Zhangxiang was in the Fu family. After working for a while, and what happened back then, Mr. Fu is such a smart man, I'm afraid he had already investigated clearly when he adopted Zhang Xiaoxiao. Jin Runs has been with Mo Ziweiyuan for many years, and he still admires this man in his heart. He can develop the Mo family into the richest man in Chengdu, part of which is the means, and more is the man's foresight. Suddenly, he is still a little scared. He helped Zhou Yuling get Mo's family. Success was the best thing. If he didn't succeed and Mo Ziweiyuan found out, he couldn't even imagine his methods and his fate. Once he failed, he would enter the abyss and fight with the wolf. Being in company is ultimately dangerous. Mr. Mo, will Su Jiashan go against the Fu family for us? Yes, because I will help him get rid of his biggest stumbling block, which is just love, and he has to pay it back, Mo Ziweiyuan said with certainty. He not only agreed to Su Jiashan's conditions. Jin Runs knew that Mo Ziweiyuan had made a deal with Su Jiashan, but did the Su family really dare to go against the Fu family? Although I was thinking about this problem in my mind, I still contacted Su Jiashan. I have to say that Su Jiashan moved very quickly. As soon as they drove to the door of the villa, almost 20 reporters gathered around them, including Little Red, Little Blue, Tomato, and Sundek. These reporters originally wanted to come, but they were warned and did not dare to come. Just 10 minutes ago, they received a call and someone would help them bear the consequences, so they naturally dared to come. When they came, they immediately surrounded Fu Jinexai's car. Mr. Fu, why did Zhang Xiaoxiao recognize his ancestors in Ruchin instead of Rongcheng? Mr. Fu, is it because Zhang Xiaoxiao is not the daughter of the Mo family, but just because you want to be with her, you made up a false identity and invited Mr. Mo to act with you? Mr. Fu, are you afraid that the internet will say that your relationship with Zhang Xiaoxi is incest? You need to come out to refute the rumors for the Fu family. Mr. Fu, Is it true that Zhang Xiao is pregnant? Is it true that Zhang Xiao is seducing you as stated on the internet, to seduce you? Mr. Fu, I heard that Mr. Fu was so angry that he was admitted to the hospital because of what happened to you. Is this true? Mr. Fu, I heard that you abandoned Zhou Yuling, and when you were because Zhang Xiao was pregnant you have to give her an explanation. End of this chapter.